So today we will start on a new topic, transaction management in JDBC. How do you perform transactions using a Java database connectivity? Like, you have a database, you even have a Java program, they are connected. How do you take care of your transactions? Now, all of you very well know what do you mean by a transaction. A transaction is nothing but a set of operations, or I can say, if I talk in my SQL language, some queries. Okay, a set of operations or a set of queries. Now, transaction management is a very important concept in database because, uh, be it whatever kind of a transaction, be it a cash transaction or be it any kind of online transaction, it has only two cases. One is it should either be a success or it should be a failure. You will not have anything in between that. It should either be a success or it should be a failure. Now, if it is not a success, it should be a failure. And if it is not a failure, it should be a success. Okay. Now, just imagine a very simple thing. You are A and you are transacting money. Let's say you are transacting money of 100 rupee to an account called B. Okay. Now, there is only two cases which can happen. One case is A's account should be less of 100 rupee and B's account, there should be an increase of 100 rupee. This is where you say it is a success. Okay. This should have reduced by 100 and this should have increased by 100. Okay. The other cases, like, A's account, nothing happens. B's account also nothing happens. No money is deducted over here and no money is credited into over here. You call that, the transaction did not happen. The transaction failed. Now, in a normal transaction, you will never have a case like, money was taken from A's account, but it did not go into B's account. There might be a delay. Delay will also always be there based upon the banking hours and so on. But normally, there will never be a case like, A's account is less of 100 rupee and B's account, nothing came in. This will never happen. You will also not have a case where, A's money, the whole thing is over there, no reduction, but B happened to get a plus 100. Okay, this case also will never happen. Either this particular case where A's account is less than 100, B's account is greater to 100, greater with 100, and then nothing happened. These are the only two cases which will happen. So that is what I've told over here. If everything is done, it is a success. If anyone failed, if anyone either at A's end or B's end, if anyone failed, it will be a failure. Similarly, you have it even in your online shopping or your online ticket reservation, Book My Show, and so on. These are all applications of transaction management. It is either happening fully or it is not happening at all. Now, for transaction management in JDBC, you do have two operations. You call them commit operation and rollback operation. Now, if you call a function called commit, your transaction is a success. If you call a function called rollback, your transaction can be made into a failure. The user itself can make the transaction a failure. We will see that with the help of programs. Now, before we go into programs using commit and rollback, I'll quickly revise what is commit, what is rollback. You have done it in your DBMS and your operating system, but anyway, so that you still remember things, I'll just give you a quick recap about what is commit and what is rollback. Now, these are the three functions which happen, the methods in transaction management Java. One is, as I told you, you have a function called commit, which means commits the transaction, you make it a success. Okay. You have a function called rollback. Rollback is used when you want to abort a transaction or cancel a transaction and make it a failure. You use a function called rollback. Now, when you are using commit and rollback, you will have a method called set auto commit. It can either be true or it can be false. By default in Java programs, set auto commit is true. Okay, by default it is true. So when you normally happen to work with your commit rollback, you set the auto commit to a particular Boolean, and then you will start working, or you might get a problem in your transactions. We will see that later. Now, anyway, these are the only three methods in transaction management. One is auto commit, commit, and then rollback. Now, I'll quickly go through commit. Commit means you are saving the changes in your table. You have done some changes in your table. Like, for example, you have deleted away, you have inserted, you have updated. If you give a commit command, all the changes have been saved in your table. Once you give a commit, you cannot go back to your previous state. As I told you earlier, whenever you want to make it a success, you will use the commit function. We will even see what do you mean by rollback. Now, commit, if you want to save it, you will use commit. If you want to undo a particular transaction or not save it into the database, you will use the transaction called rollback, and it will go back to the previous commit state. Whenever you want to abort a transaction or cancel a transaction, you will be using a method called rollback. So we'll see that with the help of a program. Okay, open up your workspace. I have a workspace. I'll take a new class. Commit demo. Okay, transaction management demo. TM demo. Transaction management demo. Okay, I'll just copy something. I'll copy the same thing. Okay, I'll just change all these things. TM demo. I'll delete away all the unwanted lines, the commentings, as I told you earlier. Now you don't need all these commentings. Okay, I'll just delete off all this. We're not doing any of that. Okay, connection close. Okay, so have a statement, and sorry, have a question. With the help of a JDBC program, demonstrate the usage of commit and demo. Commit and demo. Okay, now I'll just have a simple statement. I'll have a create statement, statement dot, continue the question. While inserting, demonstrate the usage of commit and demo in a JDBC program, while inserting rows into a table. So I'll write an insert query, stmt dot execute update. While inserting into a query, inserting into a table. So I'll just have my EMP table itself. Insert into EMP values. EMP ID and EMP name. EMP ID was number, EMP name was character. So I'll just have 8 Santra. Okay, 2 double quotes. STMT dot execute update. That is an error. Oh, I didn't close my bracket. Just a minute. Let me check my brackets. Santra. Okay. Just a minute. Okay, now it looks good. Santra single quote. Santra single quote. Okay, now it's perfect. I left out this bracket and this quotes. Anyway, so now I've written a normal program. I'll even give an SOP. Or I'll not give an SOP. We'll see both commit and rollback together. Now, this is the normal program. I am inserting into emp values 8 Santra. Okay. Now, by default, when you run this program, what will happen? We'll see when we run this program what happens. Okay. 8 Santra. Okay. Oh, I didn't give an SOP. So my console is empty. I'll go to my SQL plus. Select star from EMP. Santra has been inserted. Okay, now I'll explain why Santra has been inserted. Now that is why in my PPT I did tell before, there are 3 methods. The first method is set auto commit. By default, set auto commit is always true. If you remember the PPT, okay. By default, set auto commit is always true, which means whichever command you write in your Java program, by default, it is committed. It will be committed. You need not write exclusively a commit statement. By default, it will be committed in your Java program. That is why, even though without writing a commit statement, automatically Santra went into the table. Okay, now let me say set auto commit false. Okay, so all your transaction management methods, set auto commit, roll and rollback and commit, you should be working it with your connections. Okay, so my connection is CON set auto commit. Okay, I'll make this false. Okay, now why am I set it false? I've set it false because I want to work on my rollback query. Okay, now I am going to do a rollback. Okay, connection dot rollback. Now Santra is already there. I'll give another name, 7 nickel. Okay, now this is my new program. Santra, by default, you did understand why it went into, because by default set auto commit is always true in a Java program. Whatever queries you write, it will go into your table. Now what I've did is I've did set auto commit false, which means whatever queries you write, by default it will not go into your table. And I even gave a rollback, which means nothing is going to happen. Nothing is going to happen. Okay, rollback, if you want to work on your rollback, this should be set to false. If you want to work on rollback, set auto commit should be set into false. I'll save my program. I'll run my program. I'll take back my table. Select star from EMP. Okay, I did have 7 nickel. I told to insert 7 nickel, but 7 nickel has not been inserted. Why was 7 nickel not inserted? 7 nickel was not inserted because I gave a rollback. I'll take back my program. I did give a rollback over here, which means, go back to the previous state. Which was the previous state? The previous state was Okay, let's take, which was the previous state? This was the previous state. Just after the insertion of Sandra. So the table, the previous state is still maintained. So that is how you work on commit and rollback. Now I'll change this. Okay. Now what am I telling? I'm telling my program, by default, please do not commit anything. By default, please do not commit anything. I've set auto commit to false. By default, do not commit anything. But I am exclusively telling, please do commit it. Okay. I'll save my program. I'll run my program. Okay. Now Nikhil came in. Why did Nikhil come in? Because I exclusively gave a commit statement. Why did I give a commit statement? I gave a commit statement because, I've told by default, please do not commit anything. Only when I tell you commit. Otherwise, please do not commit anything. So this is how you work on your commit and rollback. See, the best programming style you can use is whenever you are planning to work on your transaction management, be it a commit statement or be it a rollback statement, please do set auto commit as false. Otherwise, you will not get your required changes in the table. So whenever you are planning to work on your commit method or your rollback method, do set this as false. Okay. Based upon the user choice, commit and rollback. Perform commit and rollback, which means, if the user tells commit, you should be committing it. If the user tells rollback, we will roll back it. Okay. So what I'll do is, I'll copy this. Okay. You can write it. I'll just do a copy paste. This is where we did a yes, no, isn't it? Okay, I'll just copy paste this whole thing. I'll have a new program. New class user commit demo. Finish it off. Okay. I'll copy the same thing. What happened? Not parameterized query. User commit demo. You should have been in capital letter. You should have been in capital letter. Okay. I'll be deleting many codes. I'll be deleting of many codes. The first one should be there. Class for name, class con. Okay. I am not working on, okay. I'll work on prepared statements. I'll do parameterized query. What is the problem in that? I'll read. Okay. I'll read because I want the choice. Okay. Enter the ID. Okay. Read the ID. Enter the name. Read the name. Okay. Insert. Execute, update. Okay. And now, okay. Now I'm going to give choice for the user. Okay. I am going to give choice for the user. Okay. Now I'm asking the user, do you want to commit or do you want to roll back? Do you want to commit or do you want to roll back? And let's say I'm reading the reading the answer or the choice or whatever. Okay, I'm reading the answer, br.readline. Okay, I'm reading the choice the user gives. It can be a commit or it can be a rollback. And okay, I'll just copy the same thing again. Control C. If answer starts with C, what will I have to do? I will have to commit. Okay. If the answer starts with C, I will have to commit. And if the answer starts with R, I should be rolling back. I should be rolling back. Okay. So if the user tells commit, I will commit. If the user tells roll back, I will be ANS. 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 Okay, so that error is gone. If the user tells me commit, I will commit. If the user tells me roll back, I will be rolling back. Okay, so I'll just save my program. I didn't make any other changes. Okay, so because I'm using the rollback, I have to do one thing. Whenever you are using rollback, what should you do, Sandra? Whenever you're using rollback and commit, what should you do? Is there anything you should be doing when you use commit and rollback?
Set.
Yes, correct. Tell me.
And set auto commit.
Yes, correct. So you'll have to set auto commit as true or false.
False.
You should be setting the auto commit as false. Okay, otherwise you will be getting a problem. I'll just check my program from the beginning because I was copying stuff. Okay, so what was it? User choice based commit rollback. Okay, I'll just check from the beginning. I did a class, I made a connection, I did a prepared statement. Okay, I was using parameterized auto commit false, BR, set ID, set string. Okay, commit rollback. Okay, anyway, let's run the program. We'll run the program and check for the errors. I'll execute my program. So they're telling me enter employee ID. So Sandra, tell me names. Okay, enter the employee ID. Give me a number, quick. ID. Okay, 4, enter employee name, Sahiba. Okay, so please remember all what I'm doing. I am entering employee ID and employee name for Sahiba, and they're asking whether I want to commit or roll back. Please have the formattings in a pretty way. I just wrote minimum stuff. I'm telling I want to commit it. So please save for Sahiba into the table. Okay, oh, I can do more. Okay, so I'll type a yes. I'll type a yes. They're again telling me employee ID enter. I will enter 5 and I will enter Parvati. So remember, 4 Sahiba should be in the table. And then what do I have? I have 5 Parvati. I don't want Parvati in my table, so I'll give a rollback for Parvati. Sandra, hope you're able to follow me.
Yes,
okay. I don't want Parvati in my table. So what I'm doing is I'm giving a rollback for Parvati. Okay, I'll enter one more. And then 4, 5, 6. Okay, enter name. Let's say Gayatri. And Gayatri also, let Gayatri be in the table. Commit. Oh my God, it's going on. We'll stop it. Okay, oh, it's sorted, fine. So hope you remember, Parvati shouldn't be in the table. Sahiba and Gayatri should be in the table. I'll take my SQL. I'll just clear my screen. Looks too dirty. Clear screen. Select star from EMP. Okay. Gayatri. Yeah, perfect. Gayatri has got into my table. Who else did we enter? Gayatri and Sahiba. Okay, so Gayatri and Sahiba should be in the table. Yeah, Gayatri and Sahiba are in the table. Parvati should not have entered into the table because we gave Parvati rollback. Parvati hasn't entered the table. Okay, so this is how you work on commit and rollback. This is what you call transaction management in a JDBC program. You can decide what to commit, what to roll back. I just gave an insert query. The same way, any query can be worked. Delete whatever you want, any query. It need not be a parameterized query. It can be a very normal query, like, we gave an insert query over here. Okay, this is also an insert. be it any query, a delete query, an update query, a select query, whichever query, you can decide whether it can be committed or it can be rollback. So this is how transaction management in a JDBC program works.